Okay, in this video we're actually going to get things moving, but before we do that, just like we did with the Mario, I want to actually create my own sprite. So I'm going to come down to here, I'm going to click paint, I want to paint a sprite, I'm going to call that sprite the planet. Let's just choose moon. That's a nice little thing to do, and I'm just going to do a little grey block. So I'm going to get my fill colour and I'm going to change it so it's grey. I think if I pull all these down to the left I get shades of grey. I think that's a nice shade of grey for the moon, and I'm going to have no outline. That's that line, or set this value to 0, and I'm going to choose a rectangle and I'm going to draw, oh, nearly got it, there we go. I'm going to draw a block across the bottom of the screen. Now notice it's sort of off the bottom here and off the side. Remember, we need to center it, so if I change that value there, mine's 36, yours could be something else, to 0, and that value there to 0, then that will place it right at the bottom of the screen, and that's my moon. Okay, a bit later on, if you want to, you could probably change the sprite and probably have do your own little moon shapey thing. But I need a lot of space at the top because that's where my rocket's going to fly and it's going to land on the moon. So let's go back to the rocket and back to the code, and now I can just do the last bit of code for this. Let me just zoom this out and move this code out of the way. I'll probably need to bring it back later, but for now let's move these up. Let's get some, we call it real estate as kind of an American term for space. Right, so I'm going to design it here. Let's zoom back in. That's too far. Right, back to our old favourite. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to do, oh, I need to zoom in that a bit, can't see that at all. There you go. When the green flag is clicked, what we're going to do, don't forget we're on the rocket sprite, we're going to get our old friend forever while the game is running. Now we're going to check what's happening. We need an if statement again. Actually, let's build it outside and drag it in later. We're going to use another piece of logic. Luckily, we're going to use all pieces of logic. These are them down here, and or not. This time we want the not version. So this is if I am not touching the moon, I'm going to fly around. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I go to my sensing, I've got the touching. If not touching, and because we called it moon, we can drop this down and choose moon. If not touching moon, I think that's pretty obvious what it means. So if I'm not touching the moon, what I'm going to do is change its x velocity, its x speed. So we need the blue things, and we need change x by, make sure you get the right ones. We're going to change x by, and we need a variable. It's x velocity, it's x speed. And now this is a little bit of physics, so I don't really want you to worry too much if you don't understand it. Probably even I don't understand it, to be honest. What we're going to do is set the old value of y to whatever the current y position is. So wherever it is on the screen, we're just going to store that for a little bit. So this is a new block on you. Back to the motion. If we scroll down to the bottom, we've got these round kind of variables. The one that I want is the y position. So set old y to y position. So wherever it is, old y is going to be that value. Then we're going to change the y position. So we need change y. So we've changed the x, now we're changing the y. And we need to change it by the y's speed. So we need the y velocity. There we go. And finally, we do a little bit of a calculation to change the overall velocity, the speed. So we need to do this. Set the y velocity. Now we need a little bit of a calculation. It's a subtraction. So we need this subtraction block. Stick it in there. And what we're going to do is go to the blue ones, and we're going to look for y position. So So it's Y position wherever it is, and we're going to take away the old value of Y. Okay, so we're changing the speed. We're speeding it up a little bit. And that's our movement. And if I just drop that into my forever block, we should now, when I click the green flag, it's dropping all the time. If I press the up, I'm pressing like crazy, there we go. It's reached maximum speed of 2. And if I go left, there we go, and it always drops. If I've got my fingers off the keys, it drops. I have to press hard on the up to keep it going, and I go right. And there we go, and eventually it will land on the moon, dink. Once it's on the moon, we can't actually get off. That's a feature of the game. We'll handle that probably in about 4 weeks' time. So that's movement. We've managed to get there now. I'm going to stop the game and stop the video, and then we're going to move on and do a little bit more work.